Right, is it live? Let's double check. It's huge. LinkedIn live. Let me check now. Let's check if LinkedIn is live. Where's LinkedIn live? Events. All right, cool. Live happening now. Okay, cool. Okay, sweet. Okay, cool. Click to join live. Okay, perfect. All right, cool. All right, so pretty much what I'm going to be doing today for the next hour. Let me just get rid of all these things so no one can see. Yeah, what I'm pretty much going to be doing for the next hour is I'm going to be coming up with the structure for the month 2 course content in our program. So I'll kind of show you what that is right now. So we run this program called 6-Figure Creators, where we help business owners who are already using LinkedIn. Small business owners are usually less than 5 staff, who are kind of posting, engaging, and they're not getting the results they want in terms of leads. And so we help people usually book at least 5 meetings a week plus. We've helped founders drive millions and millions of dollars of revenue, and we've been running this program for like 2.5 years now. And one part of the program itself that we actually run. Oh, and if you want to work together with us, you can go to this About Me section here on school.com. Just search 6-Figure Creators, read this, and then just shoot me a DM on LinkedIn. Reach out and we can join. The price to join is either $899 for 3 months or $399 a month every single month. And that's kind of the ongoing price as well. So if you want to join us and work with us, it's tons of fun. So within the program itself, there's a few different elements. I run a bunch of live calls. We have a community where we help people out. We've got tons of wins, all that kind of stuff. We've been doing this for a very, very long time. But in the classroom, I essentially there's a section in the classroom now where I've got month 1 content, which is like the way I thought about this for clients when they're joining is like, a lot of people are really busy, and so they just want to have the ability to just kind of mow through and just do an entire month's worth of stuff. And then within the stuff, I've essentially got it broken up into day by day. So if you want to book meetings on LinkedIn, this is month 1, day 1, and then this is literally what you do. And so I've created nearly the whole entire month 1. I'm a little bit late on month 2, but the reason I'm late on it is because as I went through and I created month 1, I learned a lot, and then I realized, okay, this is actually what people need help with, and I got a lot of feedback from everyone. So what I need to do now is I'm going to come up with like the structure of month 2 and how I'm going to build it. And so I'm just going to essentially right now just use AI and at the same time use my brain, and then just come up with this and just explain how I'm actually going to do it as well. So I just want to come up with the kind of like, I'm going to be recording it coming up shortly, the new structure. And so what I really, really want to do is, actually, you can just go new chat. Yeah, so what I really want to do is just come up with the structure itself. So why is this not? That's weird. All right, cool. All right, so I'm just going to begin just doing this. I'm going to spend the next hour just like actually putting together like how I'm going to be constructing this, because like what's most important is just like it's got to be consistent with month 1. It's got to flow through, the videos can't be too long, and it's just like I've got to have an overall system that just makes it easy for clients to use. Okay, cool. And so what I'm going to do to start off with is I've actually got the entire month 1 recorded transcripts inside my AI second brain. And so if you don't know what an AI second brain is, it's this bad boy. Looks fucking weird and fucking crazy, but I use this just for a lot of my organizational stuff. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to just paste everything from the entire thing into AI, and then use that as like a baseline, and then kind of feed it a whole bunch of other pieces of content as well. So like first thing I'm going to do is I want to put in my ideal client positioning document. This is essentially, we help people come up with this in the program. It's like, who is my ideal client? Okay, hey, ChatGPT. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paste a whole bunch of documents. So my ideal client positioning document, kind of like our offer, what we do, how we help clients. And then I'm going to essentially paste in, I've recorded an entire month's 1 worth of content where it's month 1, day 1, all the way up to day 21, because there's 21 working days a month. And then after that, I've got to essentially come up with the structure for month 2. And I've got a few things in mind, but I just kind of want to like cement it and put it in place, because there's a bunch of other resources that I've created since then that I want to re-add in there, and just kind of, okay, I don't want to talk this in, but I want to dump all of the content all at once first, just so you can kind of like get an understanding of like where we're at. And so we can come up with this structure for the next 21 days. So then as I kind of like record it, I already know what's going to be in and everything, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to start pasting stuff now, and then just want you to just say okay after, and just kind of ingest and read everything. Cool. And so let's go through and do this. Cool. And I'm not going to be responding to anyone's comments or anything like that, just because I'm planning on just live streaming my deep work of just like what I do. Because just many few reasons that I am doing this, but there's quite a few reasons, but I won't get into that now. So is that the... Yeah, this is our offer. I need to make a new offer doc. This offer doc worked quite well. Oh, did that get the whole thing? Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so here I pasted my ideal client positioning doc and kind of just the offer of the program itself, just so you get a good understanding. Cool. And then I need to open up Matt's second brain, and I'll open this up over here. So essentially what I need to do is I need to open up the part of my AI second brain that houses the 7FC rebuild. So you can see here, I've got it all here. And so I can then paste all the videos in. I can paste all the other GPT stuff, because you can only do 10 at a time. I'll make this smaller so you can see. I wish I could live stream two screens at one time. That would be great. Okay. How do I close this fucking sidebar? What is going on, bro? All right, cool. Oh, what is this share? What is that? Like, it's an app I've got in there. All right, cool. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to paste in essentially the... Oh, I've got all the transcripts combined. I'll just put them in month 1. Actually, I think I actually already have all the transcripts combined. Put in month 1 transcripts combined. Let me just see how many days worth if I go all the way down into it. Let me see how many days is in there. Oh, it's day 19. Okay, so I can put in all of day 19, and then I can put in the 20 and 21. Oh, just 20, because I haven't even done 21 yet, because I haven't finished. All right, cool. 3 months goal. Then I've got this 3 month goal thing. What was that? 3 months goal. Yes, that's the 3 months goal. I remember I previously did this. Okay, then the overall 3 months goal thing I'm going to put in there. So I want you kind of like read through this and then get an understanding of it, please. That would be great. Just kind of, and then kind of describe to me like where you think I'm at, where you think I'm deciding I'm doing. Just give me kind of like a brief overview. I don't know why the overall 3 month goal didn't go in there. Yeah, because I've created a bunch of assets. What the fuck is going on? I've created a bunch of assets since I released this that make a lot of the other assets kind of like null and void. Cool. Graft anymore. Okay. Yeah, because the overall goal of the 3 months is like the product where it's not really we're getting people 5 calls a week. We're trying to create someone into being a human being who's internalized the skills, identity system, and self-trust to generate their own leads and demand on command forever without needing anyone else. That's like the entire point of the program. So month 1 is kind of like putting in the system, and month 2 is kind of like what I want to do is like from a high level is like how do we refine the system and actually put it together, you know, because like a lot of people want scripts and instructions, which you want to implement that, but then after that, it's like you've got to create the refinement itself. Okay, not lead gen. Through the call. Okay, so I think now what we need to do is, I think how to niche. I want to upload this entire book, the entire book in one prompt. Control A. I'm going to add in, this is another recent document that I also created, being how to niche, because it's like, it's not, as you kind of see, like, it's not included within the first month. But what do you think, based off everything I've covered, what do you think month one conceptually covers? Because you imagine, think about the things that we're really teaching people. We're teaching people, obviously, how to create their offers. We've got the tech as well, but like creating content that attracts leads, DMs, like there's a bunch of things we're actually implementing within here. But like within, when it comes to month two, like let's look at the overall kind of character arc of like what's meant to happen, and let's kind of like drill into that. And then I can kind of like build out, because we're going to be running an offer campaign again through this as well. But like how can kind of weed this in? And then obviously you can't put in the micro stuff of each day, which I'll be able to create as well. But like, what do you think is going to be important, and from the details of month one as well? Because this book essentially did really, really well. Yeah, this book, like when I posted it last night, if I go, let me just double check that this is live on LinkedIn and then YouTube. Cool. All right. Then I want to double check that this is live on. Okay, perfect. Hey from India in the comments. I just want to check that this is live. Okay, cool. Because I've never done live streaming before, so I just don't want this to fuck up. Okay, cool. So just covering what month one actually is. But where I was going with that is that essentially like this book that I put together called, it's called How to Niche. It's like, I'm really proud of this book. Obviously, I got AI to write the entire book, but it's essentially, it's all of my ideas. It's all 100% original stuff. You can copy the book and get access to it. But like, I just posted this yesterday. It was only like 11 hours ago, and I already got 1,262 comments. So I know there's a shit ton of demand for this. And so that's why I want to build it into the next one, because I've helped a lot of clients weave and build this in. And I've also built quite a few GPTs that help people do this with kind of niching, because niching is what really, really actually matters. I might do a session on that. Pause and separate the layers. What month one actually covers. Very delivery does not cover. Okay, month one is not foundations. It's installation. Yeah. Cause meant having it to go. Press buttons. Yep. Execution. I see. I feel like no one used the word clarity before AI. Fucking hell. Functional, not philosophical. Okay, so let's say I'm coming up. I've also got to give people tasks around like DMs, content, and all that kind of stuff as well. What I might also do is I might actually just upload the entire pre-program right now. And the pre-program is essentially the program that everyone does in the program. It's the program that everyone does before they actually even do month one. Here it is. Yeah, and so then you can kind of read what they've also completed there, so you can get a good understanding. But like, we obviously have to teach a mix between tactics and strategies. But then also within month two, we're also going to get people to run an offer campaign. So month one is going to be like week one in month two is going to be doing stuff. Week one, then it's going to be running an offer campaign, which will kind of like last about, I think how many days did it last in the other one? Actually, no, I think it was the other browser. I've got so many browsers. Okay, so month one, it was like till Wednesday. Rest and Flect, yeah. So it's like the off campaign takes 8 days, essentially, to actually run, because the Monday on day 6 is like the 7 calls in 7 days campaign that people run. And so essentially, like, it's like 5 days this, 8 days that, and then that's 13. So that'll be 8 more days at the end of doing stuff as well. Okay, so we look at it, it's essentially, but then I came up with the plan before of like the month one, month two. Where was it? Hello. Overall 3 months goal, yeah. Because the second month really needs to be around refinement and resonance month. I understand who I'm talking to, how they think, or why they buy. So I think a lot of it needs to include the how-to niche stuff, and the niching thing is actually built into it, the niche scoring and how to like think through niching. So I think I need to teach things there. But kind of like give me your kind of synopsis on, based off this is our ICP, based off everything we've taught, what are some things we should potentially teach? Because I'm going to have to get into more details around like creating content and stuff like that. Because like if you list out all of the stuff that we're teaching in month one, obviously we've got a whole bunch of other modules on content and all that kind of stuff, but like we still need to teach different things around DMs and content and all that kind of stuff. But like niching is the most important thing to do. And I did do quite a few topics on that. I think I have to go through niching examples. Yeah, it's like I want to run the niching workshop, but I want to put in the days things so people can understand it, so I can keep refining and thinking about it. That's what I'm thinking about. All right, let's see. Let's see what happens. Hope the transcript doesn't die. Okay. It's important for everyone else. Setups, priming, trust-oriented, trust behavior, worldview. Yep. Bias towards action. Early rule of one. Month one resolves. Alright, this post, the job of month two. One sentence. Meaning through pattern recognition. Turning accidental. Okay, mistake. But teaching niching as a static decision. Teaching niching as a worksheet exercise. It's a sense. Cool. High-level syllabus. Think about that. Okay, signal decoding, why things worked. This is where your niching, this comes to live. Replies versus non-replies, saves versus likes. Yeah, I need to, this is where you teach. The content is a recognition. And then there's some GPTs that I made over here as well. Where was the GPT that I made with the trust? Trust GPT thread. I think I can grab that one over there. I think it was here. Actually, chat GPT. Yeah, because it's like insight gives meaning without power, self-trust of force. Yeah, because the key is going to be like ideal client position, gold standards example. Because I'll give you this like where's the gold standard example? Gold standard. Yeah, like, because, like, I'm going to paste you, these are, because I did a niching, like, giving people a score out of 100 with niching. So it's like, I want to give you this, like, this is kind of like gold standard of, like, what good niching looks like, because then I want to get into this kind of, like, nitty-gritty of it, like, why it works. And then, like, I think that's going to be really key. And then I think teaching the basic principles of the book and just getting people to apply them. And so they can just really see, because then once they see that, that's like what really opens up, because the first month is just like just doing shit and taking action, and then this needs to be, it's like, how do you truly niche the different ways? And then so I think if we do the first week, it kind of needs to be consolidation of niching, and then the second, then we run the off campaign, and then we get into the end bit as well, and then it can kind of be like niching through like content as well, and the different types of content. I've just got to see what did we already teach on content before, like, because we did co-creating content, swipe files and format hacking, content creation basics, and the hook formula. Yeah, that was like a lot of content stuff. That was like quite good that we went through. Yeah, one more screen. Yeah, this kind of works a lot, and then we just need to see like what good looks like. Because if we look at Beck's one, because hers, as in 2 weeks, probably took some time off. Yeah, hers was a really good example of the different ones. But yeah, you can see me pasting these kind of examples in here. Like, and I think I need to just go into this in detail so people can like really see like I think that's got to be key. And then even potentially with the how-to niche book, we've got the formula within the book itself. I can't remember what the formula is, right? But the thing you want to get it to where it's like, holy shit, that's me. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so essentially it's the where niching belongs. I can't remember the formula. But essentially getting people to actively do that and kind of like identify and give them like a task themselves to kind of like identify who that person is really. And then kind of like building that over the week. Like I think, and then I've got to use examples and show stuff and then just make it really basic principles as well. Cause this stuff and just talk about like the local online thing and how it's structured differently. Yeah, it's all coming back to me after 5 weeks off. Yeah, I think that is going to be like the first 5 days and then how to structure that so they can actually apply it kind of thing. Okay. 21 minutes in. Good, we got some time still. I'm gonna paste in, I just pasted in the gold standards of like what good niching is. Now concrete on through, yeah, what niching actually is, explain why the Beck example works. That's 2, what gold standard niching actually means. Does this person read my thing? Yeah, definitely. What to teach, well, specifically on history, bad, multi, yep, cool, decision paralysis, language fidelity, yep, cool, yep, okay, yep, yeah. Yeah, because I've got the niche scoring GPT where someone gives themselves a score out of 100. And I think that works quite well. Yeah, I think we need to bring that into it. Okay, so essentially what I think what the way I think that we do it then is we kind of like show the book how to niche. Like, how many words is the book? I don't want to get people to read it because it's too long. So a lot of it's they don't need to read it. It's a waste of time. It's going to be too much stuff in there. It's good, but not when people just take action. Too many people just consume shit and just don't take action. So essentially, like, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to talk about, like, we're going to have to pull apart the different things within the actual niching book and then teach them and get them to apply it. So I think the first day we do is we get people to do the niche scoring thing where they score their profile out of 100, but we just need to also let people know that, like, you know, whatever the score is, like, this is an indicator. It's like nothing beats your internal gut and then coaching from coaches, but like the AI is never going to get it perfectly, but it gives you kind of like a leading indicator of where you're going. Because some people I've seen have got like a 90 out of 100, but it's definitely not a 90 out of 100 because like the GPT can't tell if your branding looks dog shit. Like so it just can't actually know. But like, but I think we need to teach, like, I think I really want to just consolidate and teach the book in this month because this is just, people have been getting such good results from this. So it's like, let's say the very first day they get to do the niching test out of 100. The next day, then I'm like, okay, cool. Like this is like what good looks like and why. And then I think after I do good looks like and why, then maybe I teach the principles, and for the next kind of 3 days, and then they're kind of like doing it themselves, so they can kind of like decide like what they are. But like, I want you to essentially come up with, like, let's say all of the kind of basic principles in the book, like what, because what's the overall formula, and then what are the different subcategories within each of the formulas that's going to matter. Because it's like, the way I look at it is like, there's obviously the identity engine and then the linguistic engine. It's like people need to pick the different things from the identity engine, and then we've also got cultural engine as well, but like how we kind of like weave this all in together. Okay. Yeah, because niching is really just the person seeing your content and being like, oh my god, like you totally understand what I'm going through. You must be able to help me. Because what was another good niching thing? It's using the one core formula, three engineers, the subcomponents. Yeah. So niche strength equals identity, language, position, cultural alignment. The right person recognizes themselves instantly before they speak their internal language. Yeah. Essentially, yep. Okay. Who this person believes they are, or is trying to protect becoming. Self-concept, the linguistic engine, the cultural engine. Right. The subcomponents of each. Identity, unspoken fear. Linguistic, cultural engine. I think it missed some things, or I got some things wrong. I'm going to have to paste this in again. Can you reread the niching book part again? Because, like, there's the different parts, right? Because it's like you want to select a few things. Like, I think especially from the identity engine, like, what is the subculture identity? What is your local culture? What is your temporal identity? Psychic identity, aspirational, algorithmic. So it's like, it's like a good niching topic was like when I was speaking to my barista the other day, and I forgot her name briefly, but like she's a hairdresser, but she's Korean and she lives in Australia and she does weddings. And so like she just needs to own the niche where it's like, I only do Korean weddings in Sydney and I'm Korean Australian, so I understand your world. And so obviously if someone's Korean getting married in Australia, it's like they're going to go with the girl who's Korean who understands the culture. You know what I mean? It's like we need to select these different things, but I want you to just like go through the identity engine, linguistic engine, and a cultural engine, and just explain these parts. Because imagine I'm like going to get people to like pick different things from these, so then as they position themselves, they can be known as like that, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Yeah, niching is just about being recognized by other human beings, literally. At the highest level, how this world speaks. Yeah. So identity engine. Yeah. So the identity engine is like, who is the person and how do they identify themselves? Linguistic is like how they speak or look or communicate. Different people from different areas wear different outfits. And then cultural engine is how trust and compatibility work in this world. Okay, this is a much more succinct version. A strong niche is not using everything, it's choosing a few of each. Yeah, exactly. This is where most of our power lives and also where we most overcomplicate things. Exactly. What tribe? So examples, CrossFitters. Yeah, but what identity engine? So subculture, local culture. Yep. Temporal identity. What phase of life? And maybe they're a parent. Psychic identity. What happens in the head? Like what are they talking or thinking about? Aspirational. Algorithmic identity. What content are they already consuming online? Which is because they fit into a bucket. Is that two aspirational? Yeah, I thought it was two. Fuck, I haven't been asleep in the past days. Jet lag. How do we teach identity selection? Pick or two, then naturally stack. Do not try to use all six. Yeah, exactly, because you just can't. Someone asked me that question the other day. Once identity selected, language must match. So functional language, what physically do they do? So example, book venues. Okay, functional language. That's like what they physically do deal with. Book venues, dealing with families, planning ceremonies, these grounds of the nation. Reality. Technical insider language, yeah, what are they kind of like saying? Cultural language, exactly. Because when I was in Italy, there's cultural language. It's like internal self-talk. Narrative language, the story arc they're inside. Yeah, where are they at the moment? Then cultural engine, this is the most misunderstood part and the reason why Korean wedding example works so well. Credibility signals, how trust is earned. Lived experience over credentials. I'm Korean, I live here, I do these weddings. Credibility signals. Risk sensitivity, what people are afraid of getting wrong. Status rules. Cultural engine. Tempo and train. Yeah, we've got here niche equals selected identity layers matching. Cool, that's it. So let's like think about this from like an actual psychological standpoint and neuroscience standpoint. It's like when I know why this makes sense, but like when someone is selecting the niche for their business, like can you give me? I think what might be really good is like if you run through all of these and each of the subcategories and give me multiple examples of real life, actual examples that exist in the world, like maybe 3 for each, then I can kind of like read through and get a good, like, I'm just like deep diving back into this after 5 weeks off, because it's like I'm fucking recalling the entire thing. Okay, cool. All right, so then that will, because it's got to be, as they don't say out loud, yeah, very disappointing parents. I feel like that's a lot of Eastern culture, because my partner's Indian as well. That's like a big thing. Okay. Think of why this works. Okay, cool. Yeah, the brain prioritizes familiarity over your logic. Yes, recognition collapses cognitive load, because if you see something you recognize, you feel safe. Who this person is plus how they self-categorize. Okay, subculture. So CrossFit is a subculture, wedding industry, immigrant diaspora. I don't even know what that means, but Korean Australians. Makes sense. Local culture, where do they identify physically? Western Sydney, Melbourne, Gold Coast tradies. Gotcha. Yeah, so we've got these kind of subcultural examples. You've got a local cultural example where you're local. And obviously, if you have a local business, it's easier because you're essentially niched, because you know the local culture and you know people, especially if you come from there. That's why the guy who bought our cafe back in 2017, he wasn't from the area. So like he didn't have as much of a niche. So it was like a lot harder for them than us because we lived in the area for so long. What phase of life they're in right now? Yeah, new parents, recently engaged couples, mid-career plateau professionals, temporal identity. It's like what's happening in their head. Founders, yeah, founders have a specific thing. High-performing women, immigrant children, definitely psychic identity. Because one of our clients, his niche now is like he helps Indian Australians buy their second, third, and fourth investment property. Fucking best niche. It's so good. Because people just immediately see it and they're like, oh, you must be able to help us. Aspirational, who are they trying to become? Athletes, business owners, couples getting married. Cool. Those kind of suck, those one. Algorithmic identity, yeah. Hyrox has an algorithm thing. Wedding inspo feed, yeah. Startup AI productivity. So pick 2 to 3 of these that kind of like naturally stick. Linguistic, how this world speaks, behaves, and signals. Language works, how the brain uses here. So we've got functional language, what they physically do. Wedding couples are doing this. Yeah, business owners are doing something. Parents are doing something as well. Yeah, makes sense. Technical, CrossFit, yeah. The technical is like the insider language in the word. That's what works really well for virality within your niche. And then you've got cultural language examples, Italian food, yeah, shared references, insider and language, and then cultural is different as well. And then psychic language, internal self-talk, yeah, it's what are they saying to themselves. It's why we work with usually people with smaller teams of founders, because they're saying things to themselves differently. Narrative language is the story arc they're currently inside. Engagement, overwhelm. Okay, so what are they kind of going through? The cultural one, so credibility signals, examples, immigrant niches, lived experience. Risk sensitivity, what are they afraid of getting wrong? It's got how trust and competitive actually work in this world. And status rules, who is trusted versus not, one of us. Tempo and tone, cool. Why Korean Australian wedding example, no persuasion required. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so if you're thinking about these, like let's say we go for the first week. I think in the first week what we teach is, number 1, we get someone to do their profile score out of 100. Number 2, then we go through, okay, these are some other really good examples of like content and niches. Like, and I'm just going to explain why. And then I can use kind of like, I might create a GPT as well where people can like put stuff into it and it's like explain what are the different elements of the actual, like what different things does the person select within the niching and why does it actually work? And then also the day, then we go, that'll be day 2. Then day 3, 4, and 5 is like, they're kind of like picking a couple of each of like what they are and what they're doing. And it's like, and the other thing as well, like a lot of people just pick a niche, but like you have to, it's why the requirement of understanding the niche is you have to talk to people in the niche so you can understand all these little micro nuances. It's like when I was in Sofia in Bulgaria, I don't resonate with anyone. It's really hard to resonate with people, even though I loved it, but it's like I didn't grow up there. I didn't experience it. So they all have all this lingo that you can't just like, if I just said, I'm going to go sell into Bulgarian and open up a restaurant, it's like, I would have no idea. It would suck because I just don't know unless I spent a lot of time there and spoke to a lot of people there. And it's like, that's also got to be the antithesis of the first week. It's like pushing people to speak to people each day within the first week and ask people questions around like, hey, is this something you're interested in? And they've got to kind of like pick different elements. And then at the end, they've kind of got their own formula of like what they're actually doing. So I think that's a good that's a good arc for the first week of what actually going through. What's kind of like your thoughts on this? And why were you saying that people should pick 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 for each? Like, because you don't need more differences between each, or like what's the actual thought process you're going through there? And then how does this kind of all come back to the equation I've got, where it's just like the trust utility equation and how each of these things feeds into it? Cool, because I think I need to teach the trust utility equation and then like why that works. But I also need the combination of like getting people to do stuff, because if you don't do stuff, you don't learn how to play squash by reading a book, watching a video. This is coconut water. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Since the brain does not do addictive trust, is an altogether too many identity layers equals, if someone tries to express subculture, local culture, this all at once, the brain doesn't think, wow, nuance. It thinks, I don't know where to place this person. Okay, identity work like a hash, not a resume. The brain compresses identity to a fast heuristics. Are you one of us? Yes, exactly. Why I help founders is bad. Indian Australians buying, yeah, this is recognizable. 4+ layers, I don't know if this is for me because it's like too much. Yeah, it does make sense. Cafe example, why week 1 must feel like real conversations. Yep, this is why. Real niche is discovered through hearing the phrase you didn't expect. Yeah, so you got to understanding it. When people are accelerating, yep, it accelerates the niche. Why talking to people accelerates the niche clarity neurologically. They just pattern match and they just understand what the person actually wants. It's why why I can write content now that people just like, oh, you just get it. It's just because I'm just spending so much time with people. I just kind of know what they're thinking about. And I also was the person previously as well, which helps a lot. Day 1 profile score, day 2 gold standard setting. Yep. This is what gold standard looks. Day 3 is like, I think, yeah, day 3 to 5, yeah, it needs to be, I think we need to go, there's obviously like the identity anxious, then the language, then the cultural. But like, do you think this is like, if you get to critique it, do you think this is too overly complicated? Like, do you think if I do identity, language, and cultural, like cultural, do you reckon it is required? It's like, I think it is, but like, I can build GBTs actually just for each of these, just to make it really easy for people to select, because then they can just go on a rant like I am to like pick people on just kind of like how they express it. But I do think language matters a lot and identity matters a lot, but just the culture, is that a stretch? And how this maps into this. Okay, identity engineers P outcome. Does this work for someone like me? Indian Australians, yep, why this works. Linguistic engine P outcome plus risk, because the trust utility equation is if someone's going to make a decision, then to know the likelihood of the outcome times the value minus the risk. Cultural engine is risk primarily. Culture answers, will this person embarrass me, misunderstand me, or break norms? So is that if I work with them, if you know what I mean? Korean waiting on Korean vendors, instantly immigrant niches favor insiders, local businesses outperform outsiders. Aspirational identity over value. Is it worth caring about? Does the community justify emotional investment? You're teaching people to reduce cognitive load in the buyer's brain. Essentially, that's all it is. So they can just easily make a decision. It's like if you go to a fish and chip shop locally in person and you buy fish and chips, even if it's not the greatest fish and chips, you don't have to decide. People need less decisions in their life because we have a massive overabundance of just everything, which we need to deal with now, which just fucks our dopamine receptors. You're training how to become recognizable to a specific nervous system. Okay, cool. So I think what we do is in the first week, it's going to be LinkedIn profile score. And then the next day we'll be like, these are some examples of content and like why it matters. And then I can talk about the language and this, because I got some really good examples. And then the third day and then the fourth day and the fifth day, I can also show more examples, but then use a GBT where people, I show examples of language or subcultures where it's like, because it's like, if I think about Ian, he's a guy who teaches ADHD founders. It's like, he's got a couple of subcultures within there. It's like, and why his content goes so well. because he just picks a couple. It's like within the niches themselves, and then he transmits that into his content. Then you essentially become a category of one, because people think you want to become a local business, but online. Okay, so I think that's what and then the other thing I want to weave into like those first 5 days is like, I don't know, how should people just like reach out to people and like talk to them and ask them questions about this? Because you always want people reaching out. Obviously we get people to do 10 DMs every day, 10 comments and doing one post. And I'm going to start running the new gym thing, which will be coming out too as well, which will be really good. So maybe that's not even required, getting people to reach out. Like it could just be overkill. It's more just deciding on these things, and so you understand, because there's a difference between niche-based content and then virality content. But the key is you want those both weaved in together, so it's the same thing. But yeah, that's my kind of thought process for this first week one. What do you think? What am I missing? What could I add? Obviously, after this, there's going to be 8 days of an offer campaign, and then we've got an extra 8 days of additional stuff that we're going to do. But like, what's your thought process now? Okay, I think we're getting here. Let me just check that it's still live streaming. Is it still live streaming? Yes, it is. And is it still live streaming on LinkedIn? Is it? Events. Yes, we are still live streaming on LinkedIn. I'm not going to read the comments. All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to paste this. All right, cool. Right problem, not the mechanics. Okay, I'll cover these 4 things. So there's definitely a culture too complicated. How Irish? Okay, cool. Short answer, conceptually, no. Operationally, it can be if you don't constrain it. Teaching them as 3 equally heavy systems, letting people design and so select. Why it's too complex? You're reducing degrees of freedom. You're forcing signal compression. You're limiting the choice of 2, 3 anchors. This culture engine requires stretch. Yes, is required. Must be framed as risk filter. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, cool. Identity, linguistic, culture. Gotcha. If I go socially or reputationally wrong. Gotcha. Gotcha. How do I outreach work? Yeah, we don't need extra outreach, I don't think. Listening, not research. Yeah. Reframe, outreach is listening, not research. You're trying to learn niche to pick. You're trying to feel easy, familiar with low friction. Your week 1 arc. Instead of teaching them 3 separate things to do, frame them as one. I didn't pick 2 to 3. Kill anything that feels force. Ask where they belong. Would I say this to a peer? Could I fuck this up without realizing? Did you notice in there 2 additions, a kill list? You need a force subtraction. People overtrust their ability to hold nuance. List 3 identities, 3 phrases, or 3 audiences you're explicitly not for. Yeah, okay, doing the not. And a good enough lock. People will try to keep refining forever. You need to explicitly teach a niche is good enough when trust is formed faster. No one is perfect. Okay, lock in. Okay, cool. And so so now we've got that someone's nervous and doesn't have to think. That's key. So now that we've kind of got that right, so now I've got the framing of the first 5 days. Then we got an 8-day offer campaign that we're going to get people to run, right? Then afterwards as well, like imagine we teach people DMs, we teach them how to do emails, we teach them how to create content. Like what's going to matter after this? Do you reckon we should be like, okay, we're going to need sections on how to create niche-based content. We're going to need sections on how to do kind of like niche-based stuff in the DMs when you're writing DMs. Because obviously if you write a DM and you increase this language into it, that's going to be key as well. Super personalized and super relevant DMs. Like I want to kind of like grab the, let me just have a look through here. Like I want you to have a read through the complete rebuild that I've done again. And what I want you to do is just kind of be like, what might we kind of like be missing within the program per se, if you know what I mean. Like, what could be missing in the final 8 days? Like, what should we be going through? Should we just be teaching how to apply this niching stuff throughout and just like re-updating everything, if you know what I mean? Fish and chip shop. Lol. I got 15 minutes to go. Wow. Didn't do it. Okay, so I'm just going to paste in the first month, right? But I'm just trying to think of now, okay, I've got the first 5 days locked, then 8 days, then I need the final 8 days. Should I just be, I think I should just spend this month teaching, because I always have the tendency to like way overdo stuff. But do you think I should just spend the last 8 days then focusing on like, and here is how to add niching into your content and then niching into your DMs, and just how to add the language and how to add all that kind of stuff so people like recognize you, and then niche for design as well, I think would be another one. Let me have a look at the stuff, just like what the fuck LinkedIn looks like, so I can just remember. So it's like, I could be like how to start a conversation. So it's like how to create content and then start chats with people afterwards. Like, yeah, how to start chats with people afterwards when they engage in your content into your niche, like why it matters. And then also I think I need to teach, there's one thing that I'm missing, right? Which is like part of your niche is your personal brand. So this is a massive thing that I'm actually missing. Like part of your niche is your actual personality of you. Because I think like, I remember when Laura Higgins came into our program, and she's a fucking epic marketer. She just talked about content. There's got to be like, oh fuck, what did she talk about? The 3 principles. She said you want to talk about how all content should either be how I content, your kind of contrarian opinion, or it was like personal content. It's like, I think I'm missing the entire niche part of where the person talks about them and their life. And I think that's something that I haven't actually put into here, because like posting personal content is like a differentiator where you truly become a category one. Because it's like, I'm looking at my content right now, and like when I posted a story about my life, it's like that got like, 60,000 impressions. It's like, I think I need to teach niching, but niching in your life. And I think I probably need to write another small book on this, if you know what I mean. Because if you look at, I'm going to paste, this is such a good insight. I'm going to paste my Fuck Selling Build Trust book, because then you can see the book on self-trust. But it's like, how do I build in the niching part around like, you need to niche, like you need to just literally promote yourself and talking about yourself, because I think that's going to be super key. So I think there's points in here where we can talk about like, this is like your niche, your audience, but like this is your own niche, because it's like you can't, if you have your audience, then you have your own stuff, because you want to be posting things that you do that your niche does. Like if you're Indian Australian, you want to post stuff about India, because like why would you not? Like my wife has an Indian business, they post about Indian stuff because it makes sense. So it's like, how do you weave this into your personal stuff? Like if you sell to parents, you talk about your kids, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think there needs to be a section of this, but I'll paste the entire Fuck Selling Build Trust book just so you can kind of like have a read through that and get a good understanding of that as well, which I think will help a lot, if you know what I mean, just understanding the frame of this, because I think that's going to be something that we're actually missing here, which we should do after the offer campaign. Because the first is like, here, you chosen your niche, but here's how to like build the niche of you as your personality, and why you should be posting personal content. And then I can also talk about the tactics on like creating content and like weaving in the niche-based language and kind of stuff into it. I think I've nearly got the plan. Yes, I feel good about this. Yeah, that's a good insight. Fuck, that was good. All right, so it's appropriately constrained, risk filter, attention quality. Yeah, gotcha. Because I think I need to teach. Yeah. This message was submitted was too long. Bruh, come on, bruh. I'm just going to add it now. Jesus. There it is. Full book. There's the book. And you can just look through that, because I think that's going to be a key thing. It's like, because most people don't post nothing about themselves, which is like a huge issue, because like your life, people will resonate with your life. Like you are also a niche. Yeah, because I think like, okay, you're not missing one file layer of coherence. Fucking coherence, what an AI word. The niche is not just the world, it's also the person whom that world is expressed. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Should the last 8 days be application only? Yeah, month 2 should not introduce new engines. Should only teach how to express the engines you already chose. The final 8 days, okay, reopen discussions. Okay, cool. Is personal and brand and niche actually missing? It's not missing as a concept, missing an explicit engine of trust compression. Right now, your system teaches this. People don't just recognize your world, they recognize you as a safe representative of that world. Identity embodiment. Okay, you're missing layer, the carrier principle. Every niche needs a believable human carrier. So it's like the brain doesn't trust abstractions, it trusts humans who embody. So it's like, so your full system actually becomes, the last term is the missing one's precise. Personal content is not extra, it solves a specific trust problem about motive, values, and intent. Gotcha. So when someone sees your upbringing, all these kind of stuff, their brain says, are they real? All that kind of stuff. So, yeah, got. This is why flex and trust hits. This is why when it comes up the offer campaign. This is key. If you teach personal content before niche selection, people will overshare. Gotcha. Final 8 days. Niche content translation. How identity anchors show up in content. Same formats. You as the carrier. This is the missing piece. Teach explicitly. You are not the niche. You are the carrier of the niche. So let's just like drill down into like you being the carrier of the niche, if you know what I mean. Like I want to know what your interpretation of that is, how you're thinking about it, and like how we would be adding this into the how to niche book. Like what actually scientifically, why does this matter from a neurobiological level? And like why, what is so key about this? Because even if you post stuff just about your life, about, I don't know, I'm into doing CrossFit, but someone is not into CrossFit, it's just seeing that you actually have stuff and it makes you unique you. It's like I feel like it's another layer of things in there that you can kind of like bring into it. Because it's just, yeah, when you do personal, there's no such thing as, when I see people just do value content, so people don't even get to know you and they just don't give a shit. And that's why it's key to, a lot of the time, if you were the niche, because you just understand the niche so well. Good, this is the right place. What the carrier of the niche actually means. Okay, if we strip it down, is this for people like me? It's also asking simultaneously, is this person a safe, competent, trustworthy representative of this world? That second question is what carrier principle applies. The niche is the map, the carrier is the vehicle. I help founders XYZ. The brain really follows why you, why do you do this? So it's like what you kind of announcing it's kind of like you announcing like why, so it's not weird. Because it's why when I see a lot of people from one country and they're like, I'm just going to pick this niche and sell into it. It's like, but like, why do you want to help them? It's like, what is the reason? There has to be a story that is attached to it. So it's credibility. Before the brain is asking, have I seen this pattern before? Embodiment. Risk is lowered, fastened by embodiment. Gotcha. When someone, how you live, how you speak, what you carry out. This person lives the same constraints I do. Immigrant trust, immigrant faster, you have a polished professional. Yeah, it makes sense. Personal content creates predictability. Predictability is the strongest because it makes you predictable. Gotcha. So why posting about CrossFit works. The carrier, how niche becomes a category of one. How this standard, the carrier principle, why niches need a human body. The carrier principle. So let's break down. A niche does not exist as words alone. It exists when someone is willing to trust you as representative of that world. Explain the risk, give strict rules. Personal content must reinforce the niche, not compete with it. Time pressure trade-offs. Athletes. Random personal content increases risk. It confuses. I don't think random personal content does increase risk. Like, why is that? Like, it's like if you're just like, hey, I just ran a marathon. It's like, that's not weird. You know what I mean? It's random things that kind of like make you seem as the type of person. But then again, vulnerability is like a really key thing. The carrier shows constraints. After niche selection, you already nailed this. It's like, I think you got a lot of this wrong. It's like, people don't just trust messages, they trust the nervous system behind the messages. Like, I think you got a bit of that wrong, to be honest. The carrier principle, why niches need a human body. Like, if you had to think about like the new formula for this, but like what are the different subsections within this carrier principle? Because like, if you look at like, let me just like paste a whole bunch of my content now. And I'm not going to paste images, but I'm just going to paste like, I want you to read this content and you're like, why does it go well? Because I'm within the niching part, I'm kind of attempting to be more of like a character brand. than anything, if you know what I mean. But it's like if I paste my content and you're like, you can also see the impressions that each post got. You can't obviously see the images, but it's like, why does this work, do you think? Because it does work really well. I know it does. A niche system sometimes only trust users as a representative of that world, explains the risk mechanisms, gives strict rules. People don't just trust messages, they trust the nervous system behind the messages. Carried embodiment. Well, let's hope this doesn't stuff up. That would be really annoying. And I have 5 minutes. That's all right. I feel like I've got a lot of progress here. Thinking out loud. All right. Let me just go through this now. Let's see what's happening. Thinking. Yeah, because I think that's just got to be part of it. It's like, because not random personal content that breaks the reader's model of you. A marathon isn't random. The carrier principle, a niche message can be true and still, because the brain is running a second check. Is this person like me? Carrier check. Is this person the kind of human I'd trust to guide me? The person is safe. The lived credibility signals. Proof you inhabited the terrain. Constraint alignment. Your life operating constraints similar to theirs. Like, so, okay, so it's like you're kind of like, you're talking about different things. So we've got lived credibility signals, constraint alignment, motive transparency, predictability through consistency, status collaboration, costly signals. You're kind of talking about Robert Cialdini's 7 rules of persuasion here as well. You kind of like bringing them into yourself is, well, if you know what I mean. Neurobiology, the brain's agent safety, idea truth. Your personal content works because it answers, are they real? Are they consistent? Do they have skin in the game? Have they done the stuff? Yeah. Plus origin plus cost equals authority. Why your content works, pattern level synthesis, status plus vulnerability equals safe power, anti-guru, polarity, cultural. Because I've also got contrarian opinion of like what I'm against and what I'm for as well. Because I think that's part of your brand. We haven't even defined your own personal brand and what you're against and what you're for. I think this is another deeper topic as well. Community ritual, tactical proof, the correction on random. Personal content is safe if it reinforces one of the carrier subsections above. It becomes risky when it introduces a competing identity that confuses your category. How to add this to add a niche cleanly. The carrier principle. The second question your brain asks, 7 carrier signals. Like, let's say if you take all the other best personal brand methodologies and frameworks that actually exist on the internet and like weave them into these, like there will be things that we're missing, maybe things that we're doing that they don't, but like weave it into together. So it's like, what are they? And like, what is an example if you're thinking about what are your 2 carrier signals? So like, what would be some of my carrier signals? Like, what actually are they? And like, how do I kind of weave them in, you know what I mean? Because I like this, because you're choosing multiple identity anchors, multiple language areas, like a cultural risk rule, a couple of carrier signals, and that's like, this is me. This is like what I'm talking about and who I'm like projecting to and why people should believe me. Because ultimately the whole entire thing is to get people to trust you. That's the whole entire principle of fuck something, build trust. I have 2 minutes left, holy shit. I feel very good about this though, this progress I've made, because I knew I've got to get into like the actual personal brand niche, because it's like, because people are like, oh, why do you post personal content? Like, what's the point of that? It's like, it matters like a lot, because my brother, he posts personal content and he's gotten booked tons and tons of meetings just from like literally personal content, and he barely even posts. Like, I remember he posted about like, he posted about talking to a uni. He posted about our cafe. Like, it's like he got tons and tons of engagement from that, and just like people reaching out to him, and just like, because he's just carries basically a bundle. They just actually, they believe him because he's a real human being. So yes, parts of it overlap with Cialdini, Aristotle, status signaling frameworks. 2 important guardrails. I can't truthfully claim the best personal brand on the internet without web research, but I can integrate stable carrier principle, your ethos, your pathos, your logos. Aristotle. Should I trust you? Do you get me? Does this make sense? I like that. Not copying them. Cool. Unity. Yeah, unity is key. Cost signaling, skin in the game, social identity. You want about this creates anti-guru. Costly identity, narrative identity. Not story brand as make the customer a hero. Per se, origin struggle, pattern consistency over time. What's missing if we integrate it? The for and against line is subcultural sorting. Yeah, I agree. A signature promise. A signature problem, what it feels like to be you. Based on you had to pick 4 strongest carrier signals. Signal 1, costly skin in the game. Status collaboration. So big wins, humility, and cultural sorting via contrarian stance, and proof in the narrative as well. If you had to choose 2 carrier signals as a teaching exercise, for you, the best status is costly signals, cultural sorting. For it gets like why you, how weave this and carrier signals is performative. Every post, carrier, times identity world, post about your life, but anchor it to their world. Carrier, how they speak, carrier plus language, carrier plus utility proof. Carrier signals, skin in the game. Students need skin in the game, status, cultural, native proof. But technically, don't people have all of these 6 carrier signals? Like, realistically, when they're actually putting it together. It's 9 o'clock now, so I pretty much need to finish. But like, let's say I'm going to go into like, let's go back to like the actual, what the actual entire thing was meant to be, like kind of like the outcome of the 7SC rebuild, the overall 3 months goal, right? The second month is like the refinements and resonance month. It's kind of like, I now understand who I'm talking to, how they think, why they buy, and how to speak to them directly. And then it's like, I think in the final couple of days, right, I think we need to teach like, we're going to need to teach a few days where it's like, I think we're going to need at least like 3 days of like LinkedIn DMs, and at least 3 days of like, of content for niche content and why it matters, like at least like that people can do, maybe even the entire month. Mate, do you think we should add this personal stuff to the next month, or we should just like introduce it briefly and then extend on it the next month? Because I think that's the way we're going to have to structure it. I think we're going to need to, after this 8-day offer campaign, we're like, cool, we're going to introduce this topic for you. Do you want to introduce it at the end of the month? I think at the end might be better. But like, because I don't want to introduce something to get people thinking about something and be like, oh, fuck. It's like, I think this should just be dedicated to niching. What's your thoughts on just like our ICP, the goal, and like all that kind of stuff? All right, so... 2 carrier signals, so teaching exercise. Yeah, I think that, and I'm going to go back to this chat GPT thread later on, just because there's a lot of good stuff in here. 200 realistic have all 6 carriers. Every human technically has all of them. Here are some. Trust is not built by having signals. It's built salient, legible, and consistent. Cool. Yeah, trust anchors around dominant cues. Work long carrier introduced at the end of month 2, mastered in month 3. Yeah, that's what I think as well. People will post personal content without an anchor. Yeah, but they still need to post personal content though. That's the thing. Month 2, capable founders. I still want them posting and sharing personal content. You know what I mean? It's like, I think I need a section for that. I don't want deep personal brand theory. It's just like, it's more just like, just write personal posts. Just add them in there. It's just like that, and they just add them in there. Okay, so we've kind of got this structure. Day 1 score out of 100. Day 2 is going to be examples. Then day 3 is going to be like identity. Then it will be language. Then cultural. And then what we're going to do is 8-day offer campaign. And then after that, it's going to be like how the niching works within content. Honestly, it's going to need to be like 4 days. And then how the niching is going to be in your DMs, 3 days. And then we're going to need like a summary at the end of the month. But like, where if I'm going to add, hey, do personal content posts, could I add it in there? Like, you should be sharing personal stuff on your LinkedIn. Like, where can I add it in just to get people to start doing it? Maybe I just have it as a separate video on day 1. It's like, hey, I'm going to talk about like month 2, day 1, where I'm going to do the score out of 100, but also have a separate video where it's like, look, just by the way, post personal content. I will explain to you this next month, but people need to understand personal content. They need to know who you are. They need to get to know you, so you're a trustworthy person, just things about your life. So it's accumulating thing that's built with trust. I think that's what I do, and that'll be better. And then month 3, we can kind of just teach that kind of like the personal brand kind of side of things, and then one day at the end of the month. Okay, so what do you think about this? Re-review the entire conversation. Have I missed anything? Or I think we can just concisely put this together. Yeah, I think let's just put this together into the kind of like the plan. Brief, high level, super easy summary plan that I can kind of take and paste into my AI second brain, and so that I can kind of like close off this section. Cool. That gives me like a good structure and a summary of what I'm going to be doing. Cool. So month 1, and then I go month new folder, month 2, and I just have to make a new note in there, which is fine. Cool. Good. Sequencing, load management. Cool. Refinement. I know exactly what I'm talking to. Your principles, do not introduce. Yeah, I agree. Yep. Yeah, we just need to talk about the personal content stuff, because like it's just your character brand is just such a big thing. It's like a huge thing. Month 2 structure, gold standard, niches, identity, linguistic, cultural engine, yes. REST offer campaign, niche content, 4 days, niche DMs. You got that. You kind of got that totally wrong. It's like we've got up to day 5, which is key, but then from day 8 till from day 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, that's going to be where people run the offer campaign. So we don't even need to talk about that. I already know what to do. And then after that, then it's going to be, then there's going to be the niche content, which is going to be 4 days, niche DMs, and then monthly summary and lock-in. That's kind of what we want to do. Kind of like put this all together, because I think this is a good month. Cool. Let me check that YouTube's still streaming. Yeah, it makes sense. If anyone's got any questions, pop it in YouTube now, because I can answer. I'll go back to the LinkedIn comments later on as well. Cool, good month. Okay, cool. So that's done. All right, so I'm just going to explain what I did in this video as well. So let me just grab this and copy it and then pull it together. Cool, you're right. I misnumbered day 5, yeah, because it's got it wrong. Cool, refinement. Yep, cool, goals. Okay, cool, month 2 refinement and resonance month. So I'm just going to like grab this and like paste it into my AI second brain. It's just Obsidian, the tool. And then we can just go through what these are. And I'll probably grab this entire chat thread as well, because then I can like grab it and then use it later on as well. And then based off this, personal content, yep, cool. Month 3, yeah, this is good. This is good. All right, that's easy. All right, cool. I'm happy with the month 2 primary stuff. All right, so cool. All right, so I'm just gonna explain what I just did on this video, just so you understand what I did if you're watching this. So, and just that's if you want to rewatch it or whatever. So let me pull this up. Cool, let me just, yeah, cool. Right, so pretty much what I did in this video is like, we run a program, actually I'll just show what we do. So we run a program called 6-figure creators or 7-figure creators. We help small business owners that are using LinkedIn, usually less than 5 stars, generate 5 quality calls a week at least. And we've been doing this for 2.5 years. We got fucking heaps of wins. You go through this wins thing, there's fucking a bazillion, like people are crushing it. We run live calls every week. And essentially in the classroom section, when people join, they do pre-program. And then I've essentially got month 1, 21 days, everything that they do every day of the week. So month 1, day 1, day 2, day 3. And then I'm essentially putting together the plan to roll out and re-record month 2, which is essentially going to be 21 days of month 2. That's what I wanted. That's what I essentially did today. So I've planned it out. It's structured, it's done. I just need to record it now, but I already know all the information that lives there. Month 1 was very much about setting up the entire system. Month 2 is about the niching and then refinement. And then month 3 is going to be like how they can keep doing it forever. And so essentially what I did is I just went back and forth with GPT then for like an hour, and then just added all of my material and stuff like that. Most of my stuff, just like my IP, lives in my AI second brain. It just lives here. Pretty fucking wild, right? It's insane. but like I just keep everything in here. So I essentially added it all in, and I came up with the structure of month 2 of like pretty much exactly what we're going to be doing. And now that I have this, then I can kind of like create the nuances of each of these and like why it matters. But then I have this kind of like outcome and goal of what people are going to achieve. And the way I've been recording the videos, if I go to month 1, is like they're very short videos. It's just very short. There's a summary. So if you're a founder and if you're using LinkedIn right now to get clients, you've got Sales Navigator, you're commenting, you're posting content, and you just want to get way more leads, like we're pretty much the program for you. Like that's you're our ideal client. And we essentially, the way I put it together is like there's a summary. I've got custom GPTs here as well. We've got everything that you actually need, and you just go through literally day 1 all the way to day 21 in month 1, and then we'll have month 2, month 3. And we've also got live calls and all that kind of stuff. But that's essentially what I did today. Yeah, this was fun. I'm going to stop the stream now, and peace out. Catch you later.